Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, FPL Consult here, and today we're going to do my Game Week 6 team selection video. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at how I did for Game Week 5, talk a little bit about my transfer plans, who I'm looking at, and then take a look at our Captaincy Rubrics, who we're going to captain for Game Week 6, a lot of talking points there, and then after that, take a look at my final Game Week 6 team review. Right, so hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, please leave a like and also subscribe as well if you are new around here. Right, so for Game Week 5, I did really well. As you guys can see on the screen, I scored 89 points, right? That shot me up all the way up to 1.23 million, right? So we're reaching our target of, top 1 mil for the first couple of game weeks already. So if I can do well for Game Week 6, I could potentially find myself in the top 1 million come Game Week 6 already, right? So really happy about that. My score this week was really good as well, right? Let's start at the back with Raya, 3 points there, right? Even though he didn't keep a clean sheet, he did get those save points, and I think Raya is someone who's been getting a lot of bonus points in recent times as well. So I really like the fact that I have him in my team, right? And his run of fixtures coming up are really good, right? And then at the back we have Trent, Perisic, and Cancelo. Perisic and Trent both blank, right? But Cancelo coming off a really good performance, 1 goal against Nottingham Forest. So after blanking for so many weeks, Cancelo actually has paid off with 12 points here, right? So very happy I have him in my team, kept him all the way, and yeah, potentially could consider moving him out, but I mean, after this haul, who knows. Then we have Salah, Martinelli, Gross, Gundogan, and Andreas. Now, Salah, Martinelli, and Andreas were the ones who returned for me, right? Salah, of course, getting a lucky assist for his second assist, right? But in essence, I still feel like it was a good performance from him, right? Even though Liverpool were largely, pinned back by Newcastle, right? So to get 12 points for Salah is pretty good, right? And also Martinelli, who got the winning goal, right? So very impressive there, and I'm glad I brought him in. I took Saka out a few weeks ago and I brought Martinelli in, and I'm glad I stuck with an Arsenal midfielder, right? And then we have Andreas, who is coming off an assist, right? He put the ball in and then scored an own goal from his cross. So glad that he actually got that assist, and I think Andreas is actually coming up as a really good 4.5 mil option. I think we already knew that, but with his coming performances, I think we can consider starting him even, right? And then up front, we really have to give it to Erling Haaland, who has just got a back-to-back hat-trick. I took a risk by captaining him because he potentially was not going to start, but I think based on my predictions, I did kind of feel like he was going to get 60 minutes and start the game. Potentially next game week he could be rested, but I felt like against Nottingham Forest he was going to get the nod, and he did, right? And straight away paid off with in the first half with a hat-trick. So really amazing performance from Haaland. Then up front, Jesus as well, who got a goal as well, right? So in general, a really good performance from my team, right? 89 points. And let's take a look now at my transfer moves moving into Game Week 6. So on to my transfer moves for Game Week 6, and unfortunately guys, it is going to be a little boring, but I am going to be banking the transfer. Now, a couple of reasons why I've done this. I could have gone Perisic to maybe Trippier, right? That was actually the only transfer move that I was considering. But if you take a look, there are a lot of other teams out there with Rodrigo in their teams, and they are kind of forced to make a transfer, right? Look for alternatives for Rodrigo, and if I roll the transfer, I am actually in an advantageous position. When I come to Game Week 7, I would have 2 free transfers, and I also have 0.2 in the bank, right? So that's why this week I'm not going to do the Perisic to Trippier swap, right? I'm going to stick with Perisic, maybe bench him later on. I will explain about why I'm benching him, but potentially I will make that move next game week, right? But banking the transfer this week, I am actually putting myself ahead of the pack, and hopefully I can use those 2 transfers well in the coming game week. So this is how I'm lining up for Game Week 6 at the moment, and what I've done is I've basically stuck with the 4-4-2 formation, just that I've benched Perisic and brought in Neco Williams. Now there's a reason for this, and that's because Perisic is actually strongly rumoured and also predicted to be benched coming this Game Week 6 against Fulham, and that's because he already did play 90 minutes against West Ham, right? Over the weekend, the previous game week, he also played as well, right? Almost 70 minutes there. So he has had a lot of game time, and we know that Spurs have a midweek Champions League game coming up after Fulham as well, right? So given that Perisic has already played so many minutes, there is strong potential for him to be benched in Game Week 6, and that's the reason why I want to bench him, right? So that he's not in my starting 11 to give me those 1 or 2 pointers, right? So I've brought in Neco Williams, who, as we know, has been playing really well, right? He plays for Nottingham Forest, and they are up against Bournemouth at home, right? So there's every chance that he could keep a clean sheet there, and if he gets an attacking return, if he actually converts one of the many shots that he's been taking recently, Neco Williams could be in for a double-digit haul there. So that's why Neco Williams is in the team, right? And apart from that, everyone else stays the same, right? Not too worried about James, even though he has that yellow flag, and that's because he was, rumored to be ill, and that's why he sat out the game in the midweek. But the reason why I've started him is because there are, rumors and also potential that he is going to be fit come game week 6 as well, right? So that's why I'm pretty confident of starting him, and he is in my starting 11, right? So as for the rest of the team, they pretty much stay the same, and I am aware there are a couple of rotation risks here, right? Haaland is a rotation risk. Cancelo and Gundogan maybe a little bit less, right? But Haaland is a big rotation risk, but potentially he could get maybe 20-25 minutes, right? And that's why he is still in my starting 11. I'm not swapping him out for Kane whatsoever, right? And if I really need someone else to come on the bench, right, there is Perisic there as a defender as my first sub on the bench, and also there's Andreas, who also can be counted on, right? So if I need subs, there are available subs on the bench, but I think going with this starting 11, if they all get some decent minutes, I think we could be in to the top 1 million come the next game week. So on to the Game Week 6 Captaincy Rubrics that once again came off a really good, prediction in Game Week 5, where they also, recommended that we captain Haaland, right? So for those of you new to the channel or you're watching this for the first time, right, this is a rubric that I make every game week to kind of assess who are the best captaincy options. And in the previous game week that just passed, Game Week 5, right, Haaland was, predicted to do really well. He had the highest score, right, so he was the best captain choice, and indeed he did return, right, 17 points there. So really, really amazing. This metric has been working. There have been a couple of game weeks I followed it. There also have been a couple of game weeks I haven't followed it. And this game week is going to be one of those game weeks where I'm not going to follow it. Now, based on the stats, right, we have player stats, we have team stats, and we aggregate everything together using a weight, and we score them, right? So based on this scoring system, Haaland, KDB, and Salah are the top 3 options, right? But as we know, right, Haaland is a rotation risk, right? He already did start against Nottingham Forest, so it's very, very likely he doesn't start against Aston Villa. And on top of that, a lot of us don't have KDB, right? So that's the reason why for this game week alone, I am going to captain Salah, and I'm going to vice captain Trent Alexander-Arnold, right? I don't have Kane as well, right? But if you take a look at this whole metric, the ranking as well, right, it is pretty telling of how these teams have been performing as well, right? Haaland, KDB, Salah, Kane, and Trent are the top 5 captaincy options, right? I've also included some defenders here, right? As you can see, Trent and Cancelo are in the mix. I've also added the clean sheet percentages there to kind of add everything into this rubric to kind of, get a better scoring, and then we can see, right, who is the best captain option. So as of this week, I am going to captain Salah. The metric says Haaland, right, even though he could potentially not play, right? So I think if you are going to captain Haaland, right, which I don't recommend by the way, but if you do, right, make sure that you vice captain someone who is, quite high up this metric as well. So slapping the captain's armband on Salah and the vice-captain's armband on Trent, this is how I'm lining up for Game Week 6 at the moment, right? Of course, subject to a couple of changes. I could maybe want to start Perisic if we get some pre-game early team news that Perisic is going to play, right? But if not, I think this is how I'm going to go into Game Week 6. Stay tuned for the Game Week 6 deadline stream to kind of see if I do make any last-minute changes. But for now, this is my team, right? I really like it. Hopefully, it brings me into the top 1 million. Let me know what you guys are doing for Game Week 6. Are you making any transfers? Who are you captaining, etc. Right? Let me know down in the comments below, and I will see you guys in another video very soon. Bye bye.